In this investigation, we are going to investigate the hardness and the permeability of five different rocks. We have limestone or chalk, sandstone, granite, marble, and slate. Of course, we know slate, marble, and granite are um, impermeable rocks, and all of them hard rocks. Sandstone and chalk are permeable rocks and soft rocks. But we want to know which one is harder than the other and which one is more permeable than the other. Let's start with chalk. First, if we get one, it will be very soft. If we get five, it will be very hard. About the permeability, if we get one, it will be very impermeable. It will be, if it will be five, it means it's very permeable. By the way, hardness, it means it's hardness, the ability to scratch the rock easily. If it's hard or if it's difficult to scratch it easily, it's a hard. If it's easy to scratch it, it will be soft. Permeability, it means the ability of rock to soak up water. Let's start with the chalk. We are going to try to scratch it. Yes. Time in this should keep the same. And also the same drops of water should keep the same each time. So we test just the hardness of rocks and the permeability. In hardness of rocks, the factor should keep the same. We should scratch each rock the same time, 1 minute, and in permeability, the drops of water should keep keep the same. So the first one, chalk hardness was 1 because after scratching, after rubbing with this rough surface, it will give large amount of powder. And the permeability, it soaks up a large amount of water. So permeability 5 and the hardness was 1. So it's a very soft rock and very permeable. It soaks up water very well. Sandstone, what about the sandstone? After 1 minute, yes, it can be scratched and give a powder. What about the permeability? The same numbers of water drops. It will absorb water, but some water will not be absorbed. So sandstone gives 2 and permeability 4. So sandstone, still soft rock, but not softer than the chalk. Chalk, the hardness was 1. It gives more powder than the sandstone. Sandstone can be scratched easily, but it doesn't give a powder after 1 minute like the chalk. Sandstone is a soft rock, but not softer than the chalk. Chalk is more soft, is softer than the sandstone. And the permeability, chalk is more permeable than the sandstone. The permeability of chalk was 5, permeability of sandstone was 4. Chalk absorbs all drops of water, but sandstone doesn't absorb all drops of water. Let's see what will happen to the granite. after 1 minute for scratching. Granite until now didn't give any powder. Yes, granite didn't give any powder. It's so hard to scratch it. And what about the absorbency? Granite didn't absorb any drop of water. So granite is a very hard rock, very hard rock, because it didn't give any powder here and it didn't absorb any water, so it's very impermeable, very impermeable. Okay, marble after 1 minute. Marble can be scratched easily. No, it can't be scratched easily. Marble can be scratched but not easily. Marble can be scratched but very hard. It gives a small amount of powder after scratching, and it doesn't absorb any drop of water. So marble, a hard rock like granite, but not harder than the granite. Granite is more harder or very hard. Granite is harder than marble because when we scratch the granite, it doesn't give any powder. But when we scratch the marble, it can be scratched, but not easily, very difficult, and give a small amount of powder. But granite didn't give any powder after 1 minute from scratching to both rocks. Last one, slate. After 1 minute, slate can be scratched, but not easily like chalk or sandstone. It gives some powder. What about the absorbency? Yes, it doesn't absorb any drop of water. So slate also a hard rock, but not harder than marble. Marble is a hard rock, but not harder than granite. So the hardest one was granite because it didn't give any powder. Second one in hardness, marble, because it gives a little powder. Third one was slate. It gives some powder after scratching in 1 minute. And after that, sandstone, soft rock, give large amount of powder after scratching for 1 minute. And the softest one was chalk because it gives the largest amount of powder after scratching in 1 minute. In the first investigation, the hardness, we should keep the time the same because, for example, if you scratch the chalk just 1 minute and you scratch the sandstone for 3 or 5 minutes, or if you scratch the marble for 15 minutes, okay, of course the marble will give the largest amount of powder, so we will gain um, not actual results, or not it will not be a fair test because marble in this case will give large amount of powder after large time of scratching. So the time should be the same. Should be kept the same. What about the hardness? What about the permeability? Slate, marble, and granite, they didn't absorb any drops of water. They have the same permeability. They have the same permeability. All of them are impermeable, very impermeable rocks, okay? But sandstone absorb water less than chalk. Chalk absorb large amount of water, so it's a very permeable rock. And after that, sandstone absorb water, but not like the chalk. Uses of some rocks. Slate is used to make the roofs. Statue, some statue can, we can use marble and granite. Graves can be made from also marble and granite. Church buildings, church buildings can be, we can choose marble, we can choose we can choose granite for making some parts of these buildings. We can choose slate for making the roofs of the church. We can choose what else? We can choose sandstone. Let's check. Yes, we have something incorrect. Let's ignore slate and choose limestone. Yes, it's correct. Okay. By the way, the roofs can be made from slate.